Good morning, everybody. Welcome to People, Passion, and Purpose. I'm so excited that you're here. I've got such a great guest for you guys today and for me because I gotta be honest, this one is really for me. I met this guy this year, and the moment we started talking, we were instant connection. We became friends, actually more than friends. He's my brother from another mother, and you'll see by his skin tone, and or should I say, by the lack of mine, that we can't be l- really blood related, but he's so important in my life. So I'm gonna go and add the intro, and I'll see you guys. Go share the event, would you? Go right ahead. Go share the event. All right, let's go on stage. Yay! Business is no longer only about products and services. More than ever, it's about connection and community. Business is about people. And that's why I created these live events. Every week, join me in discovering one remarkable individual. No shop talk here. It's about who they are and not what they do. My name is Isabel Fortin, and welcome to People, Passion, and Purpose. Hi, hi.
Hey, my sister, how are
How
you?
you doing?
I'm amazing today. Just got back from a little vacation, so I'm all tanned up and ready to go.
Wonderful. And we got a little bit of people coming on here. So, guys, please go ahead, share this event so more people can discover this wonderful, wonderful human being that Derek is. And without further, hi, Ali. Um, without further ado, Han, I'm gonna have a hard time not to call you Han, so I'm just gonna go ahead and
You're
call you
good.
like that.
Perfect.
Okay, so the first question is, who has been dead or alive,
Hmm.
preferably someone you actually knew,
Okay.
who has been the most influential person in your life and why?
Yeah, that's a great question.
Yeah,
And
you.
I always I want to come up with this amazing person that that seems this incredibly unique, but I will honestly say that it's my mom. And I will tell you that it's my mom, and I'll tell you why. So my mother was fiercely direct. She was the one that called spade spade, and if you were wrong, she would just tell you were wrong. If you were wrong in public, you were going to get it. If you were wrong in private, she would tell you. But if you were right, she was my biggest hero, my biggest advocate. And so throughout my life, my mother always gave us I have a brother and a sister, gave us that you can be or do anything that you put your mind to, that you put your heart to. And I wouldn't have probably said she was my most influential person. um you know about 5 years ago, she might have tied a couple other people, or at least one other person I can think of. But I wrote a book, and when I wrote the book, and I really started analyzing, because I came up with my personal brand, the 24K Life, be your best, bring your best, leave nothing to chance. And I start writing this book, and I started to try to think back, like, where did I get this content from? Um, just the philosophy, if you will. And I remember that I got it from my mother, which was really disappointing because I thought I made it up myself. I thought I was brilliant. And here's where I knew that I got it from her. This is how I knew I got it from her. Because when we were little kids, they went to parent teacher conference, and they would come home, and I would be scared shitless. Like, my sister was super smart, so she was never scared. She was just smart. I had to work hard, but I was kind of always talking or kind of in trouble, if you will. And so uh, she'd come home, she'd sit me down, she'd go over the report card, and she'd say, okay, you didn't get an A, you got a B. Did you do your best? And I'd have to answer her truthfully, yes or no, did I do my best? And so then she'd go down, and if I said, yes, I did my best, she'd hug, kiss me, great job. Then she'd go to the next one, so,
Regardless of the grade.
yeah, regardless. Well, no, if I now, so I got one grade. I remember a couple times where I said, I was scared to tell the truth. I'm like, well, no, and it might have been something simple like spelling. No, I didn't do my best. I could have studied harder. Or she says, well, what could you have done better? I could have studied harder. I could have practiced more. And she says, okay, well, I'm going to hold you responsible for that. And since you said you can study harder, you can practice more, you need to do that, 20 minutes a day or whatever it was. And then I would do it. But her premise was, if you did your absolute best, no one else could ask more from you. And it is the exact principle that I use in creating the 24K life and helping people understand how to become their absolute best and then let everything else fall where it may.
It's funny how we because somebody asked me the same question last week after my guest was done answering. He said, "What about you?" And I said, "Well, it was my maternal grandmother, but I found that out like about 10 years ago that she had been the most influential person within my life just by her example and by the way
Mhm.
she lived her life. And
Right.
she's been deceased for over 30 years now. So it's funny how when we are in the situation,
Yeah.
we don't realize what the influence the other people have on
100%.
us, and we don't know what influence we have on other people either.
That's very true. That's very true.
How are you seeing the influence that you have on your sons? I know your
Mhm.
sons are a grown ass man now,
Yeah.
but
Yeah. I have
like,
a 32-year-old, a 27-year-old, and the 27-year-old is pretty close to just being just like me. I mean, he's pretty close. So I've always seen it. He's a pretty serious dude most of the time. He has amazing work ethic. He's very, emotionally connected to people. He's more of an empath than I am. And and so he's an easy one. My eldest son, who it's your older son. You always want your older son, your rightful heir to your throne, to step up, and he is complete opposite of me. He's a musician. If I'm a numbers guy, I do investments. So if I ask him, hey, Jordan, 2 + 2 = 4, right? He goes, maybe not always. I can see how it couldn't. And so you're
well,
just
that
like,
must drive you crazy.
yeah, you're just like, well, it did. But what it did for me was it taught me in a very hard life lesson. And we're talking like I had him when I was 23. So it taught me this
Mm.
hard lesson when I'm like 33. He's like 10 and he has this voice that he has to be his own person, his own man. And so as we come full circle and now he's over 30, he's starting to repeat and express some of the habits and thoughts that we tried to plant in him when he was younger. And so you're like, oh, it did go noticed. Maybe and I'll bet you it's the same story that I have with my mom. He probably doesn't recognize that it's from me, but I recognize it's from me. And I don't care what if he admits it or not, as long as he, is happy and moving the right way. But they're great. They on the personal side, they are the best people in the universe. On the other side, they tend to have some of those younger people issues. They want to change a lot, and you need consistency if you really want to accelerate. So, but they're amazing young men, and they would give their shirts off their back. They're obviously Black African American young men, and they haven't been to jail. They haven't hurt anybody. They haven't, got arrested for anything crazy. So they are blessed. I'm blessed.
It's it's funny that it's a concern, right? It's a
Oh, absolutely.
concern. Yeah. It's and it's so and I don't this isn't the place for it, but it's so far from my reality,
Right.
right?
Yeah.
That what that I wouldn't think of that. I really
Yeah.
wouldn't.
You know,
So,
I started early. I mean, I really started
yeah.
early, and you have to be careful because and I was very cautious, and I probably shouldn't use the word grooming my kids, but I'll say raising my kids because, you know, you don't want to plant seeds that you don't want to grow, but at the same time, you can't send them out into the world amongst wolves as sheep. And so, I started talking to them early about little things. And what I ended up doing, Isabel, is I ended up just waiting till something popped off. So if it was on
Yeah.
TV, they would ask me about it, the Rodney King thing, things like that that would pop
Mhm.
off. I would be able to kind of bring them in and sit them down and say, okay, like this is what's going on. But I would kind of wait just so that they weren't constantly looking for challenges, for
Mhm.
discrimination, for racial issues. I didn't want them looking for it because when you look for it, you're gonna find it. But I wanted them to know it existed. And then when they got older and closer to driving, I started really getting a little bit more serious about the police and what you should be
Yeah.
doing and all that, or what you shouldn't be doing, and all those type of things. Because driving while black is a real crime in America.
Yeah, it's but I think you raised something really, and I'm not going to sit here pretend to know what it is to be an African American. I am very, very, very conscious of
Mhm.
my white privilege.
Right.
But I'm conscious of my white privilege because I have friends that are from different. I don't like the word race. I think that
Cultures.
there's thank you, because I think there's only one race in it, that's the human race. But
Right.
so from different cultures, I like it, your word. But to your point, I think that when you want to see ageism, sexism, racism, any any and all ism out there,
Mhm.
it you don't have to look far.
No, you don't. You really don't. And I do my best not to judge. I always thought I'd be an amazing judge because I just don't judge, right? But the reality is that we all have a hang up about something and someone or some issue. I'm a fitness freak, so when I see people who aren't fit, I start judging. And then it only takes a couple instances in life before
Yeah.
you stop judging, right? So you go, oh, you're thinking something, you find out later this person has a serious thyroid issue. They're not fat, they got a medical problem. And so you learn really quick to not do that. But what I would say about it is just that we all have them. We do. They're there. We all
Yeah.
have them. So if you lead with love, if you just lead with love, right? If you say, so my partner says, grace, give me grace. And
Mm, mm.
so if you lead with love, if you lead with grace, it kind of changes the dynamic because yeah, you still have these preconceived notions, but you're going to work to put them on the back burner, right? You're going to work to put them on the back burner, lead with grace, and then let that person show up, the way they can. So that's the way I like to roll.
Yeah, that's and giving others grace and giving ourselves grace, that
Yeah,
if
that's
you
really
showed
big.
up with your heart, if you did the best that you could, if you did put in the effort, if you and some days you wake up in the morning, your hair's on fire and you can't, you just can't do anything right. And these days happen. So you just have to say, okay, so this is what it is for, like, for today or for right
Right.
now, and
Mhm.
that's it, right?
Absolutely.
And if I take the love, because I know you, and see, that's one of the things, and you've had this difficulty when I was on your show, is that we kind of know one another
Yeah,
just a little bit too much to actually
exactly.
be doing this. But there was no way, there was just no way I wasn't going to have you as a guest. And but if you take what you said and you lead with love and you live with love. If you take that, what would you say your number one?
Hmm.
passion, because I know you enough, your
Yeah.
number one passion is, and hang on, I'm not done with the question.
Okay.
And how did you find that passion?
Okay. Well, the number one passion is easy, and I will tell you, I'm blessed. But let's talk about the number one passion. So my number one passion is seeing people be financially less stressed. I really like to see them financially free, but we're all working towards freedom. Even myself, I don't have $28 million where I can just sit home and not do anything, which is pure financial freedom. But seeing people be financially free, we know that the number one problem in relationships is communication. And we know that what people are talking about is money. And most importantly, the lack of or where it went. I know rich people who argue about money because it's going places they don't think it should go, or one of the two. And so, I'm super passionate about it. I mean, I wake up thinking about it. I go to sleep thinking about it. It's a hobby. It's my job. It's all the things, and I'm excruciatingly passionate about it. And you're gonna laugh when I tell you where I got it from. So, first of all, I'm gonna say I'm blessed because I think we're born with our passions. I think we're born with them. I mean, maybe finding it, like finding what you're hot about might be a really, really big issue. But we all have something inside, and you've seen it. Child actors or adult actors go, I've been wanting to do this since I came out of the womb play acting, or I came out of the womb playing music, or all these things. But for me, um, I fell right into it. So when I was a kid, I was sheltered. I went to private grade schools, private high schools. But on the other end of all that private education, I heard my parents arguing about money. I heard them worrying about money. And I was an empath. So it bugged the shit out of me that my parents were always short. And in my household as a young kid, we were middle class or lower middle class, and it would be nothing for the lights to get cut off or the water to get cut off. And my dad was a plumber, so he'd go outside and take this big long T thing and stick it in the ground and turn the water back on. And but I was always concerned that I was the reason, because again, my sister was super smart, so she had scholarships to the best schools in the land. I was an athlete. I wasn't the brainiac, and they don't give scholarships for high school, so they paid a lot of money for me to go to school. So I would listen to them argue about money. And then in the midst of that, my maternal grandfather was self-employed. He was an entrepreneur. He was a barber, and he had his own barber shop. And he was also the deacon of the church. And this is hilarious. This is goes back to picking your favorite person influential. So my grandfather was the deacon in the church, and he was over what they call the benevolence fund. Okay, the benevolence fund is the committee at church that decides when a parishioner is having a financial struggle and they come to church and say, please, can you help me? I need to feed my baby. I need to do this. I need to do that. They're going to turn my water off or whatever. And then he was the one that would say yes or no. So I remember this woman coming up to the house, and she came to the house. So she really wanted some money. And it was the summertime. We were sitting on the porch, and she's asking him for some money and telling him her woes, and she's got this little baby. And my grandfather says, well, darling, did you just move into your own place? And she goes, oh no, sir, I've been in my own place. And he said, well, darling, is this the first time you had an electric bill? And she said, no, I've had electric bills. He goes, well, darling, did you think they was gonna start paying it for you? I was like, oh shit, granddad. I mean, this is brutal. This woman is coming up. She's hurt. She's upset. She's broke. And she got this little kid, and he has given her the business, right? And so, but I'm listening to him. And so I'm like, yeah, I mean, this all makes great sense. Did you know these things? And I was young. I might have been 12 or 13. And so my grandfather was very good managing his money. And he had he did things like he had these 3 coffee cans, and he put this money in the coffee can, and that was for the household. And he put money in this can, and that was for the business. And this can was for him to do whatever he wanted to. And I actually used the concept of 3 cans in my business. But then my paternal grandfather was an entrepreneur, and he was in real estate. So this theme of money was
Was all
always
around you.
around me, even if it was the lack thereof or these entrepreneurs on the other sides. And then finally, what really kind of cemented the deal was my maternal grandfather. As he got older, he got sick, and he had to use every dime of his money for health care and for his care. And I'd hate to say he died broke, but he used all his money. And my grandmother was still alive, and luckily he had a little bit of insurance. And my grandmother did some things herself. She had a couple group homes, and so she was able to continue on. But then I ended up helping her get out of her money jams. She had some money issues,
Oh,
right? And
you must have been
I mean
proud.
money mindset issues, right? Like she would dole money out to everybody in the family, and then she'd hold
Hmm.
them hostage. I gave you money, so you need to come over here and do this. So I was one of the very few that never took a dime from her, because I couldn't stand being held hostage. You can't make me come cut the grass because you gave me $20 last month. I mean, it's not gonna work.
I'll cut the grass, then you give me the money.
Well, that I'll earn it, but don't hold it over my head and make me feel
Yeah.
guilty. So yeah. So I know that was a long ass answer to your
Hey, it's your
question,
show, dude.
but that's the honest truth. And so for most people, I understand that they're struggling to find their passion. And I
Yeah.
was I was blessed. I always wanted to help people with their money issues.
I think that you're right when it comes to passion and purpose. We're actually born with them, and our job is not to find it, it's to connect to it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, Derek, I'm a mindset coach and I lose track of me. I lose track of what makes me tick, because it's mindset is the same thing for everybody. It's
Right.
literally reading the label from inside the bottle. And even if you are a coach, you still need a coach.
Right.
You still need people to
100%.
say, "Hey, listen, have you looked at this?" Like recently, I've been, I don't like the word struggle, but I've been struggling a little bit with, just the branding and
Hmm.
marketing and branding and all. It's not my forte, and I'm getting better, and I have people helping me, and thank God. But I've been having a little bit of difficulty with all of that. And I was speaking to my best friend, absolutely nothing related to, my branding and whatever. And I said, she asked me how the business was going, and she said, "Well, Isabel, can I tell you something?" I'm like, "Yeah, like I can stop you." But, and she said, "Sounds to me you're not having fun anymore." And it hit me like a ton of brick. It really hit me because I am all about the fun, right? I'm
Hmm.
all about the fun. So I forgot to have fun in the middle of this journey.
Right.
So back to what I was saying, it's that's an important part of who I am. Humor and making, light of things is
Right.
an important part of what I do. And if I lose track of that, then I lose track of who I am. So it's so easy to
Mhm.
lose track of our purpose, lose track of our passions, and just because I don't like the word chasing, but we're chasing something. We're
Right.
going after the carrot at the end of the stick, right?
100%.
So,
100%.
yeah.
But we have help. We have help.
Yes.
It's like, society's like, hey, look at this TV show. Watch this series. Get distracted by this social media. So it takes our focus away from ourselves and really being introspective. And I mean, think about back in the day, when in the Western or somewhere, they didn't have they would walk out in the fields or go swimming, or they didn't sit in front of the TV or stay in the house all day, but they had time to reflect. And we just don't take that time. But I don't know if you ever noticed this. You probably haven't, because I don't use it as much as I used to, but it's on all my stuff. I have a quote. It says, "Master your mind and you will always be free." Now, obviously, there's a dollar sign in there somewhere because I'm a money guy. But I can't go tell people that their mindset's screwed up, because they're gonna totally just turn me off. So I talk about how to get your money together so that you can do the other things. But the truth of the
Yeah.
matter is, if you master yourself, you are complete control.
That's so so very true. So when it comes to your passion, I'm presuming, and I shouldn't, but I'm presuming that
Uh-huh.
that's actually your purpose. But
You're gonna love this answer. I can't wait to tell you.
go.
So I call myself Black Moses. So, yes, it is the same. I look at myself like, look, my job, and I was put here to set people financially free. So we're not setting the Israelites free from brick and mortar building pyramid slavery, but we want to set people free from the shackles of financial slavery, from economic slavery. And so part of that is self-induced, right? We want to buy everything. The word sale doesn't mean free. We got FOMO, and people are fear of missing out. If you don't get this sale, you're never going to get this item again. And people just fall into this trap like crazy. So some of it is, yes, the price of gas is going crazy. Yes, some of it is the price of cars have gone crazy, and the price of food has gone nuts, and all these type of things. But some of it is self-induced. And so if we can set ourselves free from the shackles that come with being broke, or maybe you're not broke. I got clients that make six figures and they spend six figures plus credit cards. So I am here. I am Black Moses. I am here to set people financially
I
free.
love that.
And I obviously don't say that a whole lot, but if you want to know like what I say to myself behind closed doors, that's what I was put here for. I was put here because I have all the investment licenses, and we can talk about extrapolating corresponding collars for investing, but nobody understands that. So what we
Yeah.
do understand is, hey, let's slow down, let's have some extra money, let's put it here first, let's get rid of this next, let's prioritize this, that they can understand. And so fortunately, having a great intellect in the money area and being able to put that into layman's terms where people can actually implement the strategy, is what I was put here for, to take complex financial ideas and make them simple so people can gain a better life.
And it's not, I know you enough to know that it's not about the actual money. It's about the freedom that the money provides.
It's
It's
all about
about
the choices.
exactly. And it's
Yes.
about not being worried that you're going to feed your kids, not being worried how you're going to pay the mortgage, and not being so it's not about the actual amount of money people have
No,
in their
but
bank
you know
accounts.
what?
It's about that what that brings.
Let me give you a better example. How many people do you know or you've heard of that have been harassed at work by an employer and they can't do nothing? They can't say anything because they can't afford to lose that job.
Yeah.
I
I've
mean,
been that person.
yeah, how about that? I mean, it's
Yeah.
like if you had an if money wasn't an issue, would you tell them to go fly a friggin' kite?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so having 3 months, 6 months, a year's worth of income set aside, and I'm not talking about your retirement, because we all, or I know a lot of people have done that too. During the pandemic, a lot of people rated their retirement to live and eat, which I completely understand. But putting yourself in a position where you have a year's of expenses, you don't need a year's income. You need a year's expenses put up. And
Mhm.
then, and so to give you enough room to tell that boss to go kiss your hind parts, and they can't talk to you that way, they can't treat you that way, and if they don't want to get sued, they need to stop. But you got to
Yeah.
mean it, right? Because you can't sell wolf tickets in that situation.
It's 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 funny because I and excuse my language, I call that having FU money,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
having in order to get FU money, you need FU attitude. And what I mean by that is not telling the entire world to go F themselves, or that's not what it's about.
Hmm.
It's about knowing that you are worth more than a paycheck, and that you are worth more than whatever it is that your employer is holding you hostage for.
Right,
And being able to say, you know what, this is baloney, and I deserve to be treated kindly. I deserve to be treated with respect, and I'm just going to walk away. So
right.
it's for me anyway, and I know it's the same for you. It's not the dollar amount.
Mm-mm.
It's about the freedom to say, well, no, you don't get to treat me like this just because you
Right.
deposit money in my bank account every 2 weeks.
Absolutely. No,
Yeah,
it's and I told my son, my eldest son, the one that will question if 2 plus 2 is 4. I've told him, I said, listen, son, I don't care because he didn't go to college. He's into music and he wants to
that's
be,
okay.
he wants to be Prince, and I think that's great. Um, I couldn't do it, but I think it's
Hey,
great.
Prince made a lot of money.
Well, hey, I want him to be Prince too from that perspective, but he's 32, so we got to figure something out. But anyway, I told him, I said, son, no, here's my position. I don't care if you, and I know they don't pump gas anymore for people, but they used to pump gas for people. I said, I don't care if you pump gas. I don't care if you work at McDonald's. I don't care, if you're the president of the United States. I care that you have choices. That's it. I just care that you have a choice. And so, we want people to put themselves in a position where they have a voice and they have a choice. Because
Yeah,
once you have debts and once you have kids and once you have responsibilities, you're not so apt to say, I mean, you're worth more than being told off. You're worth more than
yeah,
doing menial things or whatever, or things that are not in your wheelhouse. But you can't stand up for yourself if you have this critical crisis situation,
yeah.
and you can, but now you put yourself in a worse spot, or now you have to worry about,
No,
depending on the government for sustenance to feed your kids and those type of things. And you definitely don't want that.
no, no, no.
So you're 100% right. I don't care about the money, and and everybody has a different number, right? I mean, everybody has a number.
Yeah, and you said that earlier. There, some people make $30,000 a year and have investments, and some people make 10 times that
Mhm,
and are drive cars they can't afford that aren't
mhm.
paid. All their credit cards
They have empty
are
houses.
full.
They got
Yeah,
big ass
and
houses with no furniture.
exactly. We've talked about that with Dennis last week. Is they're house poor. They get the big mansion at $2.7 million, and
Mhm.
you walk into their living room and it's the patio set. So and it's so funny because I find that especially this time of year, and I don't know, I'm pretty sure it's the same thing in the United States, but it's certainly like that in Canada. Although it is getting better, it is improving. Thank you, Jesus. It's at Christmas, people buy things they don't need with money they don't have in order to impress people they don't like.
It's the same way
And
here, and we're
and
worse. We're better at it than you all, than everybody else.
you've been like that for longer than we have, I think. And Black Friday 20 years ago, if you wanted to save money on Black Friday for Canadian, you had to drive to the US and go
Mhm.
shopping. And now Black Friday is here, and every single year I look at people going, yeah, if you actually don't buy things you don't need, you have 100% chance of saving your money.
You'll find this hilarious. So check this out. So this morning, I'm giving the boys money for Christmas because they're too old to get stuff. So my youngest son was over to the house, and I said, hey, I said, what are you doing today? He says, well, I'm gonna go run around and get some gifts, and I'm gonna get some, some small gifts. I looked at him, I'm like, dude, please don't buy me anything. He goes, well, Dad, I'm like, dude, I just gave you $250 for Christmas. I don't want my money back. Just keep it. I don't need anything. I need nothing. There's nothing I need. I said, and I told him about, I said, in my relationships, my close relationship, I'm like, look, my partner, we don't exchange gifts. Matter of fact, I don't want to buy a gift when society tells me I have to. Valentine's
Amen.
Day, Sweetest Day, birthdays, Christmas. I'm not buying things on those days. I'm buying things on other days that
Yeah.
because I just want to, or because it matches. But yeah, we have that bad here in the States, and we have it bad in the world, as you just indicated. Is like, you there's just, but you know what? We have to give people grace because they are bombarded
Yes.
with why they should put
Yeah.
this on a credit card. Oh, you're going to get these points,
Mhm. I
you
know.
know. So
It's baloney.
yeah, but that's why we're here talking. We're trying to wake people up to understand themselves so that they can be the exception to the rule.
So we've talked a lot about, and I knew we were gonna go there, because I know you a little bit, and because I know that's your real passion. You're not. This is not blowing smoke out of your butt. This is actually what you're passionate about, and
Yeah.
this is actually what your purpose is. So, and it's you took what you were passionate about and you made it into a career, which is, I find, the most intelligent thing that one can do to have a good life.
Right.
So, but if we put all of that aside
Hmm.
and we just only go personal, what would be your passion other than money and helping people? Because I know your heart and I know that that's what you love,
Yeah.
because you've done it for me so many times. So, what's your passion?
Well, I honestly would have to say, you know, I think I shared even when we opened up that I just got back from a quick trip, in the Dominican Republic for my sister's birthday. Happy birthday, sissy. And so I'm not a big traveler. It was cool, but I was ready to come home. So I wouldn't say that. And I honestly would have to say I would just be helping people do something different. It would probably be something physical since I'm a big physical type dude. So maybe I would be doing Habitat for Humanity, helping people get into homes or building homes. I'm not a dirty. My dad was a master plumber, and he used to take me to work with him when he moonlighted, and he'd be in the sewer in somebody's basement. That's not me. I don't like getting dirty. I get my nails manicured. So it would have to be something that I could do with my own physical ability. And let me tell you something. I had an experience in my life, and we won't go into detail because we probably don't have time. But I had experience with I had this conversation with God, like, hey, I see what you've been doing, but what else are you going to do? And I'm like, whoa, I have no idea, right? Like I imagine myself at the pearly gates, like, well, what else are you going to do to be a good person
Mhm.
in the world? And so I ended up praying about it and saying, look, God, I'll tell you what, like you can bargain with God, of course, right? Like, so I tell you what, so I'll do whatever you tell me to, as long as I don't have to learn anything new. I said, I'm big, I'm strong. I'm actually I did figure out I was pretty smart.
You
With
are.
certain things, my own little universe, I'm pretty smart. And so, I said, I'll do anything you want me to or need me to. Please don't make me learn anything new. And so at the time, that's what I thought about. I thought about, well, maybe I could
Mhm.
do Habitat for Humanity, where they help people build houses or they build houses for people who can't afford them, and then they help them get into them.
Hmm.
So it would be something with helping people, because I just don't know what else
Yeah,
we're here for. What else are we here for but to
fun.
help each other?
Yeah.
So
It's for me, it's fun. I think I think that when and you guys believe in the God that you want and believe in whatever you want, everything is fine that way.
right,
Um, but yeah, if I was to meet my maker today, I think that what he would ask me is, did you enjoy the ride?
right.
Did you, of course, did you, helping others and being kind to others is very, very important. But did you enjoy the ride? We're here for a
Yeah,
short time, not a long
yeah,
time.
you're
It's
right.
just, yeah.
But the thing about your passion and your purpose, if it's truly your passion and purpose, I'm tell you, I enjoy the shit out of helping. And it's really selfish if you think about it, because I get the biggest jolt of excitement when a client calls me and they're having this amazing aha moment because this problem they used to have financially, they're no longer having.
Yeah.
They probably haven't had it in a while. They just didn't know they didn't have it, and then they call me and say, thank you and your team. And I'm like, hell yeah. I'm like, that was me. Yes, that was all me. So, I think when you're doing, I have fun.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
My mom never understood it. You work too much. Mom, it's not
This
work.
is fun.
I'm
Yeah.
having fun.
Yeah.
Now, don't get me wrong. Some people are assholes and they're not fun. And those are the people that I've made enough money in my life. I can just fire them. Like, I can't help you
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
you know but when you find it, but that's why I told you I'm blessed, because it is. I can only imagine from your question, what else would you do if you weren't passionate about this other thing? What would it be? It's so hard to meet even And I had given it some thought, which is why I came up with the one thing, but it's so hard for people. And you're right, you have to attract it, you have to go experiment,
Yeah.
but I am blessed. I'm glad that it's not me. I'm glad that I always have been like pretty close to. Now, don't get me wrong, when I graduated college, I had no idea, right? So let me tell you this
I don't
story
think
super
we're
quick.
supposed to.
Let me tell you this story really quick. So I'm in college. I'm working for this retail store called Edel Behrman. It's my first job. And you take a job because getting out of college, the peer pressure is, don't be a loser. You got to get a job. So I got offered this job. I took it. Now I can't stand shopping, but I take this job at Elder Behrman, which is this retail store. So long story short, I knew I needed to escape as fast as I could because one winter it snowed really bad, and it was one of those things where you worked sunrise to sunset because it was the holidays, like Christmas ish, and it snowed really bad. So I told the store manager, I was second in charge, hey, let me go get your car. I'll clean it off. I'll bring it up to the door so you don't have to drudge through the snow. She goes, oh my God, thank you so much. So I go get her car, warm it up, clean it off. And while I'm waiting for it to warm up, she had every pay stub that she had probably gotten that year on the floor of the car. I gotta look. So I look at this pay stub and I'm like, oh shit, there is no way I'm going to be working here. And when I picked her, I said, hey, by the way, how long have you been doing this? And she's, oh, I've been here 5 years. And I said, how long did it take you to get the store manager? She goes, it took me about 3 years, 3.5 years. I said, okay, have a great night. And I went home like, okay, I got to find a new job. Where's the help?
Yeah, these first paychecks, man,
Oh, but
they're
she was the top person and she was getting paid nothing. I'm like, yeah, I
yeah,
gotta go. I can't
yeah.
stay here for that. So luckily I knew my worth. And then I that's when I tapped into a little bit of real estate with my grandfather. And then I got to this guy in our family he never seemed to be working. He was always at my mom's house for lunch. Right. And he was a friend of the family. And I'm like, so one day I finally said, well, what do you do? So he goes, oh, I'm a financial planner. I'm like, I want to do that.
I don't want to. I want to look like I'm not working either.
Yeah, yeah. Hey,
Hey, go
I
ahead.
know it's not my show, but I want to say
It's
thank you to
okay.
Randy and the Ali and the Don. They are giving us, and Lisa, they're
I
giving us mad love. They're giving us
know.
mad love. So
I
thank you all. I
know.
appreciate you all. Thank you.
And these are all pretty much all from the Hands of Business community, guys. You guys rock. If you're in the audience and don't know who the Hands of community is, you are missing out. Seriously, you're missing out. And they're helping me out with this show. So go connect with them and go connect. That's why I created this show, so that people can come together and connect in the comments and go add people in their own network. And this is what business is all about. This is what life is all about.
It
I
really
don't
is.
believe in business and life this being separate. It's not. This
Mhm.
is a human dealing with another human, whether you're at work or whether you're on a dance floor. It's the same thing. So hey,
Absolutely.
before we go, because of course we went 13 minutes over time, and I am no longer saying that this show is going to last 30 minutes, because it's never going to happen. So it's going to last what it's going to last. um Before we go, honey bunny, do you have a question for me? You know me too well, but
I
do you have a
know.
question for me? And if you don't, that's okay.
No, I actually do.
Oh, damn.
So no, because you know, as a mindset coach, we kind of think of that and go, they're special people. You've already admitted that you struggle every once in a while to,
Of
to,
course.
to confirm, that you're on the right path. And so
Mhm.
my question for you would be, for my community, the financial people out in the universe, what do you conceive as a consistent tool that they should use to level up, to at least recognize that they need to level up their mindset?
A consistent tool. Feedback. Not being
Feedback.
afraid to seek feedback.
Ooh, most people can't
And
take that. They call that criticism.
yeah.
But I like that answer.
And see that, and that's the problem why people don't seek criticism. I'm not looking for criticism. I'm looking for feedback. I
Mhm.
want people in my life. I surround myself with people who are kindly, brutally honest with me in the
Mhm.
way that they perceive me. So I don't like the brutally honest. That's why I add the kindly. I want people in my life, and you are one of them, who say, well, Isabel, I've been looking at you for the past X number of days, weeks, months, and sounds like you've lost your way, or sounds like you're dealing with this. And have you tried dealing with it this way? Or have
Mhm.
you thought about, and I've spoken about my best friend on this show and on this platform several times. Um, People are attracted and seeking like-minded individual. For me, that's a load of crap. Because, and it is important. I don't want to, sit here in judgment of people that are seeking that. It isn't important in the sense that it helps us with our sense of belonging, and that is not a small thing. That is a very, very important thing.
Mhm.
However, if you want to grow, if you want to work on your personal development, if you want to improve, if you want to learn new things, new skills, new ways of looking at life, if you want to improve anything in your life, seek the opinions of people that are not like you. And
Right.
I've spoken about her many times. My best friend, we met in 1989. We have been friends since the first day we met. And Jose and I have nothing in common except that she's a woman and so am I. She identifies as female and so do I. We have nothing in common. She's married, I'm not. She's been married before this husband. I've never been divorced. She's a parent, I'm not. Sh- we have nothing in common.
Right.
So, other than the fact that we are friends, that's the only common thing we have.
Right.
So when I go to her and I say, okay, Jose, I'm going through this, and I actually had a conversation with her last night. I'm going through this and this and this and that. Her perspective is always going to be different than mine. And it is always going to be in love and kindness and acceptance and respect of
Right.
me. However, she's like your grandmother. She calls a spade a spade.
Right.
If and sometimes she will say, "Oh goodness gracious, you're full of it." And I need to hear that. I'm a
We all
pretty
do.
headstrong, yeah, I'm a pretty headstrong individual, and so once in a while I need to hear that my shit stinks,
Mhm.
because that's how you snap out of your own crap and you go, oh yeah, I've been taking myself so freaking seriously. And she's the one recently said, and I was mentioning that earlier in the show, where Isabel, I've known you for a long time and you look like you're not having fun right now.
Mhm.
And I thought, holy crap, I forgot to have fun. I forgot that business could be fun.
Right.
I completely forgot. It escaped me because I'm, dealing with the mortgage and I'm dealing with everything that we deal with.
Right.
So yeah.
Well, I had fun with you today.
Oh, thank you, hon. I had
Definitely.
fun with you. I always have fun with you.
Good. I love it. So do I.
Guys, please, for the love of all that is good, go connect with Derek. Go DM him if you want to know more about him. He's just the coolest guy on earth. And we are going to be on next week. So between Christmas and New Year's, have yourself a very, very, very Merry Christmas. If you believe in it, you don't believe in it, have yourself a great time, a safe travels if you're going anywhere. And next week is my fabulous friend, Deb Curtis, as my guest. And if you, again, don't know Deb, you truly are missing out. Deb is such a wonderful human being, just as wonderful as you, my dear Derek.
Thank
I
you.
love you guys. I appreciate you being here. Have yourself a merry, 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 merry Christmas. And I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Bye.